Hi guys, and welcome back to Reads Readers with your host Clinton Reed Britton. Um, I apologize if the shelves behind me look a little messy, or I look a little messy. I took an edible last night that also had melatonin in it, so I'm still not fully awake. But I wanted to be able to put away all the books that I read in June. So we're gonna do a quick wrap up of June. My last round of Seasonathon, which anybody who's ever taken a part of any of the Seasonathons, I am most appreciative. I don't have my prompts, or I would tell you what I read, what for what, but let's just say it's been a minute. Excuse me. Seasonathon went by in a blur. I didn't read as much as some other people. Didn't realize it was a competition on how many books. Damn. Some people read 102 books last month. I read, let's go into my stats. For June, I read 27 books, which with work and drama and depression and everything else, I am so glad I did. I got that, and I DNF'd 2 things, which we'll talk about here in a minute. I had 3 3-stars, 4 4-stars, 18 5-stars, and 2 6-stars. Oh, well, that makes sense. I read a total of 10,595 pages, which I am really proud of myself for. 8 of the books that I read this month had Momo romance somewhere in it. Only 2 of the books were new to me authors. Granted, one of the authors, I've DNF'd his works in the past. So this was the first completed works of his that I've ever read. I read 11 authors I've read before. 3 books that I read started a series. 18 continued a series, and 3 were conclusions or catch-ups to series. I had 7 rereads. Yeah. And we're gonna do this a little different. Normally I do it from like DNFs, rereads, my star ratings. I have certain piles. I have my DNFs, my rereads, the series that I read multiple books in the series for. Next books are books by authors I've read before, and ones that are continuous series into series, blah blah, and then the 2 that were new to me, so we can talk about those at the end. I also don't own any of the Alley Hazelwood that I read, but we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, we're going to start with the 2 DNFs. The first one I'm going to discuss is not the first DNF I did this month, but I want to discuss Serpent's Kiss by Melissa De La Cruz. I really enjoyed Witches of East End, but this one was just so confusing, so I don't know what the fuck was going on, and I ended up not caring. So I am unhauling and DNFing the series, and I am sending these to Sam when I have the chance. And then the one that made me mad. I have never DNF'd a gay werewolf book before. But Alpha's Rejection is about a werewolf who is a TikTok author, written by a TikTok author. And the guy meets who he knows is going to end up being his mate. And he's just angry for the sake of being angry. And I can't, and the way it's written, I haven't wanted to punch an author in a while. This makes me want to punch the author, because what the fuck is this? Just, what the fuck? Okay, so negativity's out of the way. Let us discuss my rereads, which go into the series, because I reread an entire series. Technically, there are 18 volumes in this manga series, but I read 6 bind-ups of 3. I read the entirety of the Fushigi Yugi and the Mysterious Play series. Each of these are 600 pages. Ugh. We have Volume 1, which has Priestess, Oracle, and Discipline in it. I read Volume 2, which has Bandit, Revival, and Summoner in it. I read Volume 3, which has Castaway, Friend, and Lover in it. I read Volume 4, which has Enemy, Veteran, and Girlfriend in it. I read Volume 5, which has Goddess, Prophet, and Guardian in it. And then I rounded it up with Volume 6, which has Assassin, Demon, and Bride. If you do not know what Fushigi Yugi and the Mysterious Play, or as the bind-ups just call it, just Fushigi Yugi, this is about a 15-year-old girl named Miyaka Yuki, who her and her best friend gets sucked into an ancient Chinese kingdom by an old library book, The Universe of the Four Gods. Following the legends in the book, Miyaka becomes the priestess of Suzaku and must find her 7 celestial warriors so she can save the kingdom and return home. And then her friend becomes the priestess of Siru. This is my all-time favorite manga series I have ever read. I reread it all the time. I absolutely love this series. Miyaka and Tahome / Taka are legitimately my favorite manga couple ever. So, I'm not going to talk much about that because I have talked about this on this channel before. Probably. It's been a minute since I've read them, so I was like, hey, we're in a competition where pages count. 600-page volumes. Perfect time to reread. Okay, and now into another reread plus a 6-star. I reread Charm this month because I didn't get to it in May. And then I read Cherish, which these are books 5 and book 6 in the Crave series. I won't talk much about these. Just know Cherish was an amazing conclusion to the overall world of Crave, and I am so happy I buddy read these with friends, reread the entire series in preparations for Cherish, and I cannot wait for Sweet Vengeance. I won't discuss. I've talked about the Crave series way too much on this channel, and I've talked about these next 2 series a lot as well, but so I may not go into too many details on all these. I just want to wrap up what I've read. The next series I read books 4, 5, and 6 of the Secrets and Scrabble series by Josh Lanyon, which follows Ellery Page as he inherits a decrepit mansion of sorts and a bookstore on Pirates Cove Island, and death and other things start to happen, so you have to, gave all 5 stars. We do have Scandal at the Salty Dog, Body at Buccaneers Bay, and Laminate at Loon's Landing. I only have 2 more in this, and I will be completely caught up. One I will be reading this month and one next month. But it does come out this week, is book 8, comes out this week. And I'll be completely caught up on this, and we'll be looking for the next one each year. If there is any more. And then I finished the Soulbound series by Haley Turner with book 6, An Echo in the Sorrow, and book 7, A Veiled and Hollowed Eve, which is probably my favorite book of the month. I've talked about this series a lot. This follows Special Agent Patrick Collins and Jonathan DeVere, who have to save the world from Armageddon-esque, Ragnarok-esque things in a world that is very much centered around the gods, the goddesses, werewolves, vampires, fairies, dragon shifters. I've talked about this series a lot. This has solidified as one of my all-time favorite series. I bawled my eyes out so fucking hard. It's unreal. Now, into authors I've read before. We will start with Volume 4 of Lore Olympus by Rachel Smythe. This is just the continuation of the Hades and Persephone graphic novel series. That is a web comic, and I absolutely love this. I decided I'm just going to be reading the bind-ups as they come out, and I cannot wait to have the whole series. And it's just, I just wish this colors weren't for the regular edition. And we had something slightly different. Next, these 2 I'm holding up in the placements of their actual books. But which one did I read? I read Club 22 by Tate James. Absolutely loved it. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Fucking ending though, bro. I've already read this month in July. I've already finished the Hades series, so be on the lookout for my reviews of Timber and Vault. And this one I'm holding up in place of, I always forget which one's which. Broken Vow by Sophie Lark, which is the second to last book in the Brutal Birthrights series, which this one had a cowboy bodyguard romance, and I really, really loved it. Next, we have His First Surrender by Max Walker, which is the last book in the Stonewall Investigations Miami series. This follows Sam and Rocky. Oh. It's hard for me to talk about this being its conclusion, and it might spoil others in the world. So just no, I love this. Do believe I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars, right? No, I gave this one 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it, but there are a couple of others in the Stonewall Investigations world that I preferred more, but highly recommend this series. Next, I have Galatea, which is a short story by Madeline Miller. I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. I love Madeline Miller's writing. I had accidentally dropped this and lost it for a couple of months, so couldn't actually read it. I had started it, put it on my shelf, and then it fell behind a shelf. But when I was moving things, found it, wanted to finish it. So I started it over, reread what I had already read so I could finish it. And everyone was talking about Song of Achilles and stuff, so I just wanted a little bit of Madeline Miller. So, and then the last 2 books that I have to talk about. First one is Wit by Cora Rose, which is the first book in the Unexpected series, I think is the name of it. Don't quote me on that. But this follows Wit and Caleb? Yes, Wit and Caleb. Wow. Caleb is straight. He's like, straight guys don't have crushes on on other dudes, right? He gets drunk one night, gets super sick, crawls in bed with Wit on accident, and the cuddling and the being held and being taken care of by Wit makes him second guess a lot of things in his life. And the things that go on from there. I do highly recommend that you go into this blind, but if you need trigger warnings, she does have 2 major trigger warnings in this, which is mentions of depression and self-harm. So do know that going into this, but I will be getting the rest of this series. I have it all on my wish list, and I really want to read all of them. I think Cora Rose has potential to be a new favorite author for me. And then the last book I want to talk about, which is the biggest shock I have had, that I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. I almost gave it 6 out of 5 stars. But that is Empire the Vampire by Jay Kristoff. First off, I read this out of spite in 2 days. I saw how low my team was in the standings for Camp Seasonathon, and I went, okay, Empire the Vampire it is. Got that audiobook and finished that fucker in 2 days. Did not realize how much I was going to love it. This follows... It's been a moment since I've read all of these in life. Gabriel de Lion, who is half man, half monster, last remaining Silver Saint, a sworn brother of the Holy Silver Order, dedicated to defending the realm from creatures of the night. So he's half human, half vampire, and he is missioned to protect the world from the vampire race. things that go on from there. That's all I'm going to say. That's all you need to know. And just know this is one of Sterling's all-time favorite books, so I finally read it. So yay, Sterling. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Did you read any of these? Have you read any of these books? Did I convince you to read any? Let me know and comment down below. Did you compete in Camp Seasonathon? Let me know how many books you read for Camp Seasonathon. I do want to thank everybody who participated. Oh, hold on. I didn't talk about any of the Allie Hazelwood books that I read. I just realized that. I also didn't talk about All Good People Here by Ashley Flowers, which was the Thrills and Chills book club book, which I gave 4 stars. Absolutely loved. I read all 3 of the novellas, Under One Roof, Stuck With You, and Below Zero. Gave all 3 stars. They were super cute, just super short. Below Zero was my favorite of that. I read Love on the Brain, which I gave 4 stars, and Love Theoretically, which was the group book, I gave 5 out of 5 stars, and will be purchasing me a copy of that. I knew I forgot to talk about something, but those are the books that I read this month. If you like this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new, hit that subscribe, and remember, kids, always be fabulously yourself. Oh boy!